1980s gave us Juan Gabriel pouring his soul into stadium ballads, Celia Cruz turning dance floors into pure fire, and José breaking hearts with velvet melancholy. But that was only the beginning. From iconic anthems to overlooked gems, these are 10 Latin songs from the 1980s we will never forget. Number 10, La Negra Tiene Tumbao by Celia Cruz. Celia Cruz did not just sing salsa in the early 1980s, she commanded it. And La Negra Tiene Tumbao, though recorded later in her career, grew straight out of the rhythmic swagger she perfected throughout the decade. Consider this track the pure crystallization of her 1980s fire. Bold, confident, joyful, unstoppable. Step into the story. The 1980s salsa boom was at full speed, with big band horns flooding Caribbean clubs from Havana to Miami. Legend has it that when Celia first heard the early rhythmic idea that would inspire this track's future style, she shouted her iconic azúcar in the studio. Engineers reportedly froze, then laughed, then realized they had witnessed a defining moment. Imagine it now. Neon lights glowing over packed dance floors, couples spinning fast, Celia's voice soaring with unmatched brilliance. Her tumbao still shapes reggaeton, Latin pop, and global dance music today. Number 9, Querida by Juan Gabriel.
Querida, cada momento.
Few songs in the 1980s, our Renaissance Latin universe landed with the emotional force of Querida. When Juan Gabriel released it in 1984, he did not just give the world a ballad, he released a plea that cut straight to the bone. Backstory time. By most accounts, Querida came from a period of personal reflection for El Divo de Juarez. He reportedly worked on the melody at dawn, pacing a room with a notebook full of half-formed rhymes. Fans did not just hear the pain, they felt it in every breath. Picture the era. FM radio static fading into that opening synth line, people stopping mid-errand to say, shh, it is Juanga. Moms hummed it while cooking, teens used hairbrushes as microphones, weddings, serenades, karaoke bars. Querida became the universal soundtrack of longing. Its legacy, one of Juan Gabriel's signature masterpieces and still unmatched in emotional intensity. Number 8, origins of Livin' La Vida Loca in Ricky Martin's 1980s era. Before Ricky Martin conquered the globe in the late 1990s, his musical DNA was shaped by the 1980s Latin pop explosion. His early work with Menudo forged the charisma and precision that decades later powered songs like Livin' La Vida Loca.
In New York City.
In the 1980s, young Ricky was already touring internationally, mastering choreography, and learning how stadium pop demands both energy and heart. Producers reportedly recognized his star quality early. Those soaring harmonies and razor-sharp moves came from relentless practice. Visualize it. Packed arenas, fans shrieking loud enough to drown out the monitors, synchronized costumes, and a teenage Ricky delivering superstar. Level performance long before global fame arrived. While Livin' La Vida Loca would arrive years later, the sound, swagger, and stage electricity that made it possible were born in the 1980s. Number 7, Nada Personal by Soda Stereo. Rock en Español needed a catalyst in the 1980s, and Soda Stereo delivered exactly that. Their 1985 hit Nada Personal did not simply chart, it detonated across Latin America. Born from Argentina's cultural rebirth after dictatorship, the track blended freedom, sharp edges, and new wave shimmer. Legend says Gustavo Cerati recorded the main guitar riff repeatedly, chasing the perfect blend of tension and dreaminess. When he finally found it, The studio reportedly knew instantly that something new had arrived. Imagine, boom boxes pressed to teenage ears, bedroom posters curling in the summer heat, leather jackets outside smoky rock clubs. Nada Personal became an anthem for independence, mystery, and change. Its legacy, it helped launch the Rockin' tu Idioma movement and set the stage for an entire generation of bands. Number 6, Conga, by Gloria, Estefan, and Miami Sound Machine.
Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself any longer. Feel the rhythm.
If you lived through the 1980s, you remember the exact moment you first heard, "Come on, shake your body, baby, do the conga." Gloria, Estefan, and Miami Sound Machine did not just cross over. They broke through every barrier with this 1985 burst of Latin pop fused with American dance energy.
The fire of desire as you dance now.
According to Backstage Whispers, the band tested early versions of the song during club gigs. At one Miami venue, a conga line formed on its own. No instructions, no shout from the stage, just pure instinct. The band immediately knew they had something explosive. Picture it now. Hot pink outfits, disco lights, spinning across crowded parties, braces, line, teen smiles, everyone trying and failing to nail the frantic conga steps. The aftermath was massive.
Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself any longer. Feel the rhythm.
Conga helped redefine Latin visibility in the United States and became a global passport for Estefan. Quick pit stop. If these classics still give you goosebumps, hit like so more Latin fans can find this and stick around. The top tracks are the ones that truly define the decade. Number 5, Gavilán o Paloma by José José. When José José performed Gavilán o Paloma, he delivered one of the most emotionally vulnerable performances of the entire era. The song began circulating in the late 1970s, but its true cultural dominance unfolded during the 1980s through television, radio, and live shows. By most reports, José José battled vocal strain during this period, yet he pushed through every line with heartbreaking precision. Some insiders claim that one recording take left the studio in stunned silence. It felt like a confession set to music. Visualize the decade, wooden radios humming in dim living rooms, couples slow dancing at quinceañeras, families singing along during long drives. José José's voice did not simply fill rooms. It filled memories. Its legacy, a blueprint for Latin power ballads, and a masterclass in emotional storytelling. Number 4, La Incondicional by Luis Miguel.
La misma siempre tú.
Released in 1989, La Incondicional transformed Luis Miguel from rising star into powerhouse icon. Polished, cinematic, and emotionally charged, the song froze an entire generation with its precision and elegance. The music video alone became a cultural landmark. Rumor says Luis Miguel trained for weeks to perfect the disciplined military aesthetic, determined to reinvent himself for a new era. Every frame carried the message that he had arrived at a new artistic height. Picture it, late-night TV premieres, families gathering by the screen, girls gasping at the uniform, everyone whispering, "Que voz?" The sax solo floated through open windows on warm summer nights, becoming the soundtrack of countless neighborhoods. Its legacy, one of the biggest songs of his career and a defining pillar of Latin pop's golden age. Number 3, Oye Mi Amor by Maná. Oye Mi Amor, officially released in 1991, was born from the late 1980s spark that Maná spent years trying to ignite. Before the track hit the airwaves, the band was struggling for mainstream traction. Some critics doubted they would ever break through. Then came the riff. Bright, playful, unforgettable, Bacte's legend says Fur wrote the first lyric on a backstage napkin moments before a show. They tried it live without rehearsal and the crowd erupted. That reaction changed everything. Imagine the look and feel of the time. Denim jackets, braided friendship bracelets, battered guitars leaned against dusty amplifiers. Teens belting the chorus at bus stops, neighbors joining in from balconies. Oye mi amor did not just launch Maná, it rescued them from obscurity and crowned them leaders of a new Latin rock generation. Number 2, Amor Eterno by Rocío Dúrcal.
Me miro en el espejo y veo en mi rostro.
Amor Eterno, written by Juan Gabriel and delivered with soul-shattering grace by Rocío Dúrcal, remains one of the most revered Latin ballads of all time. Although released in 1984, its emotional influence defined the decade.
Yo he sufrido tanto por tu ausencia.
According to most accounts, Juan Gabriel wrote the song in memory of his mother. Rocío, already beloved across Mexico, sang it with a tenderness that brought audiences to tears. Picture the era, families preparing Sunday meals, kitchen radios playing softly, abuelas pausing as the first notes drifted in. The song became the universal melody of remembrance, healing, and love. The legacy is enormous. Amor Eterno is still a staple at tributes and major family moments. It is a song that time cannot touch. Number 1, Burbujas de Amor by Juan Luis Guerra. When Juan Luis Guerra released Burbujas de Amor in 1990, he was building on the poetic Dominican soundscape he forged throughout the late 1980s. Bachata had not yet taken over global charts, and some critics found the song too soft or too metaphorical, but listeners knew immediately that something special had arrived. Backstory whispers say Guerra spent weeks perfecting the imagery, determined to craft metaphors no one had heard before in a love song. When he finally shared the demo, producers reportedly sat in speechless awe. Visualize it: warm Caribbean nights, cassette tapes clicking into radios, couples swaying barefoot on the sand. The melody felt like floating. The lyrics became cultural poetry. Its legacy: one of the most celebrated Latin songs ever recorded, a masterpiece that elevated bachata and turned Juan Luis Guerra into an international icon. If that brought back memories, tap like and subscribe to keep the classics alive. From arena-shaking anthems to forgotten gems, these songs prove that Latin music's golden era will never die. Next up, 10 most iconic Latin songs from 1970s that defined the era. The video is waiting for you on screen.